Welcome to the Uncle's Channel. Thanks for watching today. Let's talk about the Nintendo Switch. Now, first off, there aren't a lot of critics of the system as a general rule, or a lot of detractors of the system. However, there is one criticism that's brought up fairly often, and that there aren't a lot of different variations or different color schemes for the system as a whole. However, if you really look at it, there's like 30-something variations of this system that have been put out, either limited editions, or just simply limited runs, or just simply the regular old Switch system. And so today we're going to do a tier list of all the different variations, or all the different editions of the Nintendo Switch. So let's get started. Now the first one we have here is going to be the Animal Crossing Special Edition, and when this one first came out, like me and my wife got it and we were so excited because we thought it was a limited edition, which is not the same thing as Special Edition. We soon found out because they keep pumping this one out over and over and over, and it's like one of the most common Switch models that you can get out there. However, I still love the system. This is the one that's situated on the front of our TV here. You see it on some of my videos, not all of them because I don't film in the living room a whole lot, but this is one we use most for like the main TV. And I'm not like a super huge fan of the Animal Crossing game. I don't dislike it. My wife absolutely loves the game. It's like one of the greatest games ever made for her. But I do like the color scheme that goes along with it. I like the little characters on the front. I like on the back the little, Animal Crossing island scenes. It's a great looking system. So for me, I don't think it's an S system, just simply because I'm not like a huge fan of the game in general. But as far as like the aesthetics of the system go, I mean, great looking system, and I'm so used to it now as part of our living room decor, I can't put it as anything except an A. And next up we have the Avicii Special Edition Nintendo Switch Lite, and I've never played any of Avicii's games. I'm not like a huge fan of his music either. It's just not like really my style a whole lot, and I can't imagine myself like enjoying a Switch where it's going to be pretty much his name on the back of it in like gold, highlighted font, as well as the name of the game. And I know it's like super rare. There's only like 5 of them out there, and it's probably worth a ton of money. But man, I just really wouldn't even enjoy having this system. So I'm going to put it as a D ranking, just simply because I just don't really like it a whole lot. And next up, we have the first time Nintendo tried to like sort of swap it up a little bit on the colors here, and they put out a green and blue model, as well as a purple and orange model. And I can't say I'm like really a fan of either one of these. I really don't like any sort of system that sort of does opposing colors like this, and Nintendo does a lot of them for the Switch, and so none of these are going to be ranked like very high for me. But this one here, like, I really don't like the blue and green a whole lot, but I really don't like the purple and the orange. I just don't think the colors go along like well at all, and so to me these are going to be I might put the blue and green if it's on its own like a B minus, but the orange and purple is like a C minus, so we're just going to put it as a C as an overall since these are sort of grouped together. But I wouldn't really want either one of these systems as far as like color schemes. I actually, funny enough, when I modded my system to get the colors I wanted on the controllers, I actually do have a purple and orange one, but they've been modded so you never know it, except like when I plug it into the system, it actually pops up there, the little color of the purple or the orange, and every time it hurts just like a little bit inside to see that pop up on the screen. But regardless, mine doesn't actually look like that, and so these rankings are going to be a C. Now let's go ahead and knock out a couple of Nintendo Switch lights here, and most of the lights, I don't have a problem with most of the colors. I think they're pretty good. I like the design of Nintendo Switch Lite as well, but this list is not going to be a critique on the design of different systems as far as like the OLED or standard or the Lite. I'm just going by pretty much purely on the aesthetics of it, as far as like colors or, creatures, or that didn't come out right, or like game design or game characters and things like that. And so first up we're going to have the sort of purplish blue Nintendo Switch Lite, and to me, like, I like the color just fine. I don't love it, I don't hate it, I think it's just sort of a pretty good color, and so it's sort of mid-range, so I'm going to put it as a B. And the same thing's going to go for the coral color here as well. I like the color just fine, but I mean, it's not like my all-time favorite or anything like that, so I'm also going to put it as a B as well. However, our next one up here is by far one of the best Switch designs out there. I actually wish I had one of these, and it's going to be one of the Diablo Switches. Now, this is for the third Diablo game, and that's not really my favorite Diablo game. I really like the first and the second one a great deal more, and I actually never even bought the third one on the Switch. I had it on the PS3 years ago, but holy cow, what a cool looking design here. You have the devil on the left, or Diablo, and you have the angel on the right. His name was like Tyrell, something like that. Tyrell, that sounds right to me anyway. But I've always loved the way he looked inside the game. Such a cool looking character, and I mean, it's just a great looking Switch model. I know there's not like a lot on the controllers themselves. However, you don't really need that when you're playing the game anyway. I just love to see it, like as far as like when it's docked in front of the TV. And so to me, this is gonna be our first S system, just because I think it's an awesome looking design. I'm a sucker for like anything like medieval looking, and the Diablo games always fulfilled that niche for me, or the fulfill that itch for me, and so I'm going to put it as a S tier ranking of a system for sure. And next up we have Dragon Quest XI Edition, and I'll be honest, I've never played any Dragon Quest games except for the very first one on the regular Nintendo, and and it was a Dragon Warrior way back in the day. And I actually liked the game quite a bit. But I've never played any of the other ones, and I tend to like the imagery of the first ones a whole lot better on the NES. Like, I love the box art. They're so much more like darker fantasy. And now they're a little bit more, I guess, sort of wacky or cartoon fantasy to a degree. But I love the way the dock looks. I think the sword and the shield on there, fantastic looking. If it was just that and then the blue controllers, I think I'd probably put it as a S system. However, on the controllers, they actually put a little picture of the slime on there. And I know the slime dates back to like the very first Dragon Warrior game. However, I've never been like a huge fan of the slime, and I don't really understand like why he became such a I guess mascot of the series. And so like I've never found him particularly captivating, I guess. And so to me, I'm going to put it as a tier system. If it didn't have the slime on the controller, I might actually put it as a S tier. But since it does have the slime on the controller, I'm going to put it as a tier system. Still a great system. I'd still love to have it, but I don't know, the slime sort of knocks it back a little bit. And then we had the Fortnite Special Edition, and I just never liked the game Fortnite. I don't like the microtransactions about it. I don't like the game mechanics about it. I don't like the design of the game as far as like the characters and the environment. I don't know, I just don't like a lot of things about the game in general. And I've secretly been hoping for the demise of it for many years, almost since it originally came out. But I don't like the color scheme of this particular system. Like I said, I don't really like the mixed colors as far as like two colors in one controller, and I just really don't like the Fortnite characters and whatnot on the system itself. And so combined, like not liking the game, not liking mixed colors, not liking the imagery on the dock, I mean there's no other place it belongs except for the lowest ranking, which is the D ranking. And then we have where it all began, the very original Nintendo Switch gray model, and this is the one that I picked up on launch day, and I've not regretted it in any way at all. I love the system, I love the way it looks, I just love the all one color as far as like gray and sort of darker gray or black on there. A very slick system. I think it's a great looking system. I'm torn between S and A. The only reason I don't want to put it on S is because there's some really awesome special editions out there that I really do love. And obviously I modded my controllers eventually, so I wasn't like completely satisfied. And we'll get to what I modded my controllers eventually in this video here. But for me, it's like an S- or an A+, but so for our video here, I'm going to put it as an A, just because there are some systems I definitely like better, or versions I like better. So I think A is a pretty safe location, but man, it's close to being an S because I've loved the design ever since it came out. And then up next, we have another special edition for Nintendo Switch Lite. And this one is for a game I had never heard of, I had never played before. I had to look it up just to see what it was about. It's called Jack Jean, I believe. And this is the main character on there, and she's on the back of the system, but it's like a rhythm game. But I've never played it. Reading the description, I didn't have like a particular interest in playing it. And so having a system with a character on it, like the main character of a game that I have no interest in playing, and it's already on a system that I'd probably put as a B in general, just simply the blue system. And so I'm going to put it as a D just simply because I have like zero interest in this particular system. But while we're at it, let's go ahead and find the blue Nintendo Switch Lite, because I said that would probably be a B system, and I agree with that. Like almost all of the regular standard Nintendo Switch Lites are going to be B. There's going to be a few exceptions here and there, but I think it's a fine looking system. I like the color, but it's definitely not much higher than the B. And if you put something on the back of it of a game I don't know, that's going to knock it even further down, just like it did with the Jack Jean game, if I'm saying that right. But B for that, D for the Jack Jean system, and I think those are pretty fair rankings. And then we have the Nintendo Switch Labo, and I'll acknowledge I never bought the Labo. I have almost no desire to have the Labo. It seems like almost like a waste of time as far as like constructing something, playing a little mini game with it, and then probably sticking it in the closet and never using it again. And so I don't really want the Labo in any form or fashion, but the system itself, like I think it's a pretty cool looking system. I mean, it's just simply a cardboard box looking Switch. And I mean, I'd be happy to display it. I don't think it's an S tier, but I definitely think it's above average. And so I'm going to put it as a tier. I just like the design of it. I can't help it. I don't like Labo, but I like the design of this particular system. In our next system here, I can't help but give it an S tier ranking because I absolutely love the original Pokemon generation, Generation 1, Eevee Pikachu, and the special edition that came with the Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee. Man, great looking here. I love the Pokemon on the dock. I love the Pokemon on the back of the system. I love the colors variation between Eevee and Pikachu. And I know it's opposite of what I said earlier. I don't like the differences in colors for my controllers, but I'm going to make an exception here just because I think it looks so awesome. And so it's going to be our next S tier system. And that's like complete opposite. You have Diablo on one end, and then you have Let's Go Pikachu and cute little Pokemon on the other end. But to me, these are the two S tier systems thus far. And I don't know what they go for now, probably a heck of a lot. But man, I would love to have one of those Pokemon docks up there. Because like I said, Generation 1, you just can't beat it. And then we're going to have our two special edition Mario systems, and one is definitely better than the other one. Now, the first one that came out is going to be from Mario Odyssey, and they basically took the standard Switch model and just simply put red controllers on it. And I don't think it's a bad looking system, but I'm not going to like go out of my way to get red controllers. I think it's definitely a mid-tier, probably a B-tier system. I mean, the Mario Red is fine, but like not doing anything with the dock. I mean, I just can't put it a whole lot higher than that. But then the next Mario system they put out is going to be red and blue for like Mario's, his overalls and whatnot. And to me, I'm less interested in this being a Mario system. And this is like a Spider-Man system to me, like the original Spider-Man. I just love the look of it. The red and blue, I know it's supposed to be Mario, but it matches the Spider-Man outfit just like dead on as far as like the old ones from like, the 90s and earlier. And I'm going to put it as an A tier system. I'm not going to put it as S tier because like I would rather be like maybe like have like the Spider-Man logo on it. But I understand this is not a Spider-Man system, and so I'm going to put it as an A tier, but it is a pretty darn cool looking system. And then we have the Monster Hunter Rise system, and the Monster Hunter game itself, like I thought it was a pretty fun game. I never like fully into it, but I thought it was a fine game. It just simply wasn't like fully my style. However, the dock itself here with the dragon on the front of it, man, that is a awesome looking system for Nintendo Switch. The only complaint I have on this particular system is I don't really like the way the controllers look, and I don't really like the way the back of the Switch looks, as far as like the like the geometric shapes and whatnot. And so if it was just simply the dock and then like just regular gray controllers, I mean, it would be an S tier system because I think that dock is amazing looking. But because they messed with the controllers a little bit, I'm going to put it as an A tier. It's just simply one little knockback from it. Otherwise, it'd been right up there with the Diablo system. But A tier, I think, is a pretty safe location for it. And while we're on the Monster Hunter train here, let's go into the next Monster Hunter system. This one's for Monster Hunter XX, which I'm not even like familiar with that game, or if it's just simply a code for the system itself. I don't know. It's just simply called Monster Hunter XX. And to me, like, I just really don't like the geometric shapes. Is what knocked the first one back from being an S tier, and this one focuses almost like exclusively on the geometric shapes. And so I like the color of it because I like the original model of the Switch. But the, I don't know, geometric shapes not be my thing so much. I'm going to put it as a C tier system. I don't know, just not my thing. But then we have the pinnacle of what I thought all Switch systems should have looked like from the very beginning. The very first OLED system, which is going to have the white dock with the white Joy-Cons. And this is an amazing design. It's actually what I modded my original Switch to look like all those years ago, even before the OLED came out. This was my model of system that I had chosen to use. And I mean, I feel like Nintendo copied me because I had the white Joy-Cons first, and then they did the OLED. But I didn't ever like dish the money out for the OLED, even though I love the design for it, because I sort of already had it, minus the cool screen itself. But I wasn't going to pay the extra $350 for the OLED screen. I acknowledge it's an awesome looking screen. I would love to have it. I just can't afford to pay that kind of money out. But to me, this is the peak model of a Switch system. Definitely S tier. I love everything about it. I just love the contrast of the black and the white. And I mean, that's, like I said, it's what I wanted my Switch to be from the very beginning. So this is definitely an S tier system. And let's go ahead and get to another great looking system while we're at it. The absolute best Nintendo Switch Lite. This is going to be the one for Pokemon Diamond, Brilliant Diamond, and Shining Pearl. And I can't say I even know like which Pokemon are on the back of the system, because I'm not like a big fan of that generation. But the coloring of this particular Nintendo Switch, fantastic. I think the black looks great on the smaller scale like that. And even though I don't know the Pokemon on the back, I still like the design of them. And so to me, this is going to be an S tier system because I love the color, I love the little design. It's just a great looking system. And let's go ahead and knock the rest of the Pokemon systems out while we're on the topic here. Let's go into the Scarlet and the Violet one here. And I love the dock of it. I love the two main Pokemon from those games on it, sort of contrasting each other. The variations of the controllers, once again, not my favorite thing, but I still think it's better looking than most of the ones, simply because there's a meaning behind the contrast of the controllers. A tier or B tier, I mean, this one's almost sort of potato patata for me. You know what, we're going to put it as a B tier, just simply because I'm going to maintain my rule and not break it again for Pokemon or for the two separate colors of Joy-Cons. And let's go into the Nintendo Switch Lite Pokemon. This is going to be the one that was released for Sword and Shield, which to me is the worst of the Pokemon games on Nintendo Switch. It wasn't like a horrible game, it just simply wasn't, anything memorable about the game. But I really don't like the colors of this one so much. I generally do like white or black systems, but this one's sort of like a off-white or sort of like a grayish white. And I don't really like the Pokemon or the inscriptions on the back either. And once again, the two-tone of the colors here, you have the blue on the left and the pink on the right. I'm not a real fan of that either. So this is going to be probably a C ranking for me. like I said, it's the worst of the Pokemon games for the Switch, and it's definitely going to be the worst of the Pokemon systems on the Switch as well. And then let's go back to one of the launch systems here, of course the red and blue one. And I didn't pick this one up at launch because the gray one was available, and I definitely liked it a heck of a lot more. But this one was fine. It's just simply I didn't like the two-tone colors for each of the two Joy-Cons. And so it's definitely not going to be an A like the original one. And I mean, B, as I'm looking at the stuff that's on the B tier here, it doesn't even fit with that. I'd actually probably put it on the C tier with the rest of the two-toned color changes, as well as the geometric Monster Hunter. And it really does bother me to put one of the original Switches like so far down the list here. However, like ever since they announced it, I just didn't like the contrast of the light blue and the red. Like I said, I just didn't like it, and so to me, I think C is a good place for it. And now let's talk about the Splatoon editions, and I'll acknowledge I've never played a Splatoon game, so if I played it, my opinion might change on this one a little bit. It does seem like a game that's sort of down my alley as far as like the multiplayer aspect. I just simply have never played it. But there are two separate systems here. We have one for Splatoon 2. That's going to be pretty much of a standard Switch, except you're going to have green and pink as your Joy-Cons. And I just don't like that color scheme a whole lot, and so we're going to put it as a D tier ranking. If I liked the game a little bit more, I might think a little higher of it, but since I have not played the game, it's a D tier ranking. And the other one, I actually like the color scheme a little bit better. Not a lot better, but a little bit better. So to me, it's going to be a C tier ranking. Once again, if I played these games, I might move them up a little bit, but just based on pure schemes as far as like colors, design. And I know I've been talking a lot about like personal preferences or personal variation favorites, but I mean, that's what a tier list is sort of encompasses on its own. But if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments down below, or there's a reason I should like a particular model more than I already do. Let me know that in the comments down below as well. But let's go ahead and move on into our next variation here, which is going to be the Super Smash Bros. Edition. And I absolutely love this game. And I love the design on the dock itself, all the Nintendo characters. I love the little Smash symbol that goes across on the controllers. To me, this is a amazing system that encompasses the game in a great way, and so I don't see any other place I can put this system but as an S tier system. And once again, I would love to have this one displayed in front of the TV as well, but I'm sure it goes for a heck of a lot of money because there's a huge Smash community out there, and it's probably a pretty rare Switch at the same time. But let's go and get into more Switch lights here. We have our next Switch light, which is going to be the gray or charcoal model. And I love that model. I think it's a great looking model. Not as good as the pure black one, but I think it's a really good one. So it's going to be an A tier. The yellow one, I think, is on par with the rest of the Nintendo Switch lights. So we'll put it as a B tier. And then we have a pretty unique one here, which is going to be the Trials of Mana Switch Edition. And I actually like the Trials of Mana pretty well, or I'm not sure if I can say that. I've never played Trials of Mana. I played the Final Fantasy Adventure and the Secret of Mana, which I like both of those games, pretty well, especially Final Fantasy Adventure. And there's a Game Boy review of that. I'll put the link up above here for that particular game. But the Switch model itself, like, I don't know, it's just like a little bit too much. And what I mean by that is like the dock here is the only yellow dock out there, but it has that face of one of the enemies or partners in the game. I don't know, I haven't played a Secret of Mana in so many years, and that little character was not in Final Fantasy Adventure. The orange Joy-Cons themselves are fine looking. I don't mind the orange color there. The in-between part on the Joy-Con holder or the controller itself, that's the only controller or little Joy-Con holder out there that has an individual design on it. And I think that's pretty cool on its own, but it doesn't seem to go with the orange of the controllers like at all. And I would rather it be somewhat of a cohesive design. This one just feels very disorderly for me. And so I can't actually put it super high just because it's so disorderly, but I can't put it super low because it's also like really, really unique. And so B feels a little high for it compared to the rest of the ones I actually do like in that category. So I think C fits it pretty well. Next up, we have the Tsum Tsum or Tsum. I'm not really sure. I've never really watched the Disney show. I've only seen the little toys at a Walmart and whatnot. And I just don't like the design of that console. It just looks very, very, like, I guess, babyish in a way. And so to me, that's a D tier. It just looks a little bit too kiddie for me. And then we have our final one here, which is the one that just got released. And it's probably going to be the last variation of Nintendo Switch, if I was guessing. I don't know, but that's just my personal guess. This is going to be the Tears of the Kingdom Switch. And as far as like a Zelda-looking system goes, fantastic. I love the white on it. I think that's fantastic looking. The gold controllers with sort of the digitizing green on the sides, excellent. I know in the back of the system has like little circles. I'm not sure it really shows here on that little image. I'll try to put a picture on the screen there. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not great either. But as an overall, I really do enjoy the white with the gold. I enjoy the controllers, and so to me, it's going to be our final S tier system. I had no intention of making the list look so like perfectly square as I've done here almost. There's just a small variation on the A and the D, But I guess Nintendo Switch has been very consistent on putting different designs out for it. And so all the complaints out there saying that there are no variations, just look right here. Tons of variations on the Switch. And I'd say probably something for everyone. Because I know like my S ranking is probably somebody else's out there D ranking. And my D ranking is probably someone else's S ranking. And if it is you, let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are and what you would change in my particular list. But as always, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, check out my other videos listed up above, and go out there, find a great game to play. Just simply have a great rest of the day.